The teachers are like, well, you got to pick your career. You got to pick this or what you're going to do, blah, blah, blah. You got to start thinking about this. And I'm like, but why? Well, why do I got to pick one?
Okay, so I guess we'll just to start wrapping it up. The one thing on here is the passion versus purpose. And that's really Max and I discussed about this in Awkward Tea Party, but I'm probably going to bring this up on when we do the other podcast. But if you guys have seen Soul, it's pretty much based off that. The thing you're passionate about isn't necessarily the purpose you have in life, in a sense. Mm-hmm. So I guess that's an interesting conversation because a lot of people think that your passion is going to be your purpose. This is what you are meant to do because you love it so much. But in reality, it might not be. So, and that's for some people, they might be passionate about, I don't know, rocks, but they're
rocks.
But their purpose is for something greater because they have the natural ability to. They might be, I don't know, their purpose might be meant to be a teacher because they have a way of speaking to the youth or teaching people or bringing people under one mission, whatever that is.
That's you.
So, yeah. One nation under Emeroy in...
All rise.
But yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting thought because have you reflected is your passion really your purpose to be, or is it completely different? Because I've been reflecting on that more lately. So
I think it just depends. It depends on how you're viewing it. I feel like we kind of groomed our next generation. You got to be passionate for one thing only, and then you can probably do that. Or you got to pick one and then do that. Rather is, I just know, just coming from my experience and my perspective on things, even growing up as a child, I was interested in everything. And I never wanted to do just one thing.
Yeah.
I just wanted to go to the next thing and the next thing because I love doing everything.
Yeah.
And so and even with the teachers, they're like, well, you got to pick your career. You got to pick this or what you're going to do, blah, blah, blah. You got to start thinking about this. And I'm like, but why? Well, why do I got to pick one? Yes, I love dance with a passion, but that's not the only thing that makes up me.
Yeah, we're not one-dimensional.
Yeah, exactly. So I like doing this and I like doing that, blah, blah, blah. So why can't I do all of it, And I feel like with the question of passion versus purpose, I feel it doesn't have to create that question so long as we start saying, hey, you don't got to pick one thing because you're not just one thing. You can have all these other things and you can pursue all of them.
Yeah.
Just doing it and it's all about just figuring it in a timely manner where you don't just study something and then study it for a little bit and then go to the next thing. It's no. If you really, really like this, you put some time into it. And if you want to go to the next thing, you can do that.
Yeah. No dabbling.
And I think no dabbling. That's different. But I feel like if you want to pursue different things, then do that with that effort, with that work ethic. It's not going to be easy, but it's doable. And if you want it, then it's attainable.
I'm on I wouldn't say the opposite side of the coin. As when you said, no dabbling. I love to dabble in things, mostly because I love knowing at least a little bit about everything.
Trying things.
So most of the time it's just I can't, if there's something that I tried it, not good at it, but there's this one thing I'm I want to try that now. I'll go back to the other thing later and maybe be good at that later. But this thing right now, vibing with it. So I'll doubt, I'm a dabbler, and which is why, I would be really good on a trivia team because I know a little bit about everything. It's probably useless information all the time, but it's good for trivia and maybe Jeopardy. Yes. I'll take the test at some point, Jeopardy.
At the same time,
I want to be in Jeopardy. But yeah, I don't know. I at the ripe age of 30, I don't even know what my purpose is. My passion is doing everything, is trying everything that I can. But as for my purpose, I'm why am I here? I don't know. Live, exist. For now, feel I haven't found it. That's the thing. It might take years, in Soul. How old was he? 40?
Yeah. Sometimes it takes.
Night Jacks. It is 1 a.m. over here too. Oops.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know because when we think about that, as those who are curious about everything, I think of Leonardo da Vinci. Or the people from the Renaissance era. They were good at everything. Scientists, artists, sculptors, scientists, sculptors. Yeah, there you go. So it's
Sculptists,
cult leaders.
Emeroy Bernardo.
No.
Ooh, Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it's I don't know because I'm going through college, drop out, but no, I'm just kidding.
Drop out. Everybody drop out.
I did.
No, going through college, like my last quarter of college, I was still doing both dance and this and like animation, and people were like, "Why are you doing both?" I'm totally mocking my teacher.
Why
Right
the fuck not?
You have to pick. You have to pick one.
You gotta choose one.
And there was this, and then we were the first cinematic animation team in my last 2 quarters of the college, and this one animator chick that we all had a crush on, like when she had a very snooty kind of reply to me, and she's like, "Why are you doing both dance? You know you have to pick one, right?" And I'm like, all right.
Suddenly you're not so pretty anymore.
Suddenly
you're not that pretty anymore.
Suddenly I want to like prove you so wrong and destroy you.
Being an ignorant bitch makes you ugly.
Not like that, but like I'll show you.
I'll destroy her.
I'll show you.
I've always been passionate about doing art stuff, but like for me, I feel like as I'm getting older, like I feel like my purpose, it's slowly unfolding, I guess, is to somehow be a teacher or
stand and deliver the children.
No, because a huge part of this is because I really like being a dad. And then once he's done, he's like, and he's a teenager. I'm like, all right, fuck off, dad.
Once he's done.
Once he's done.
You're done.
Once he's done baking.
Yeah,
I'm done.
So yeah, like pretty much, like it's similar with when the junior team I used to teach. Like it was cool, like seeing how kind of directing them, even though I was kind of an idiot, not kind of, but I was an idiot. Like they still turned out really great, and I just like seeing the long-term impact of like somehow my teaching stuck, even though I was
still unbelievable to me.
Even though I was very offensive half the time, some of my teaching stuck.
They were saying all these like nice things about him. They're saying all these nice things about him. They were like, "Oh yeah, I still use some of the stuff Emeroy teaches us. You know, like in my career is what? A scientist. What?
We're talking about the same Emeroy Bernardo?
A scientist. Or like a physical therapist. Like, they don't really be physical therapists, and they're gonna start their own practice. Run Hulu." So keep going back to that.
Oh my god, yeah.
You taught someone who runs Hulu. God dang.
Just like, what? Yeah, these kids came from you.
You didn't fuck that one up?
Even he can't believe it. He's like, wow.
Emeroy once gave a kid outside of a store asking for money, $20, and said, "Hey kid, never give up on your dreams." That kid is now Bill Gates.
Shut the
fuck up. Drop out of college.
Hey, Joey said something really good in chat.
Yeah. He
said, where is it? Purpose is what builds you. Passion is what you build.
Boom.
That's a load of shit, right? I'm just kidding.
I disagree.
I disagree. I'm going to play devil's advocate.
And here is why. This is why this is full of getting.
I have a drive. This is random too. Like I've even thought of opening an orphanage. Like,
wow.
Just because
Eliza Hamilton?
No, like just the fact that there's one. I think there's a saying that like, if you want to really leave a legacy and make an impact,
Alexander Hamilton.
It's oh fuck you guys, man.
I am not throwing away my shot.
You teach the kids because then you're implementing a mindset or a way of thinking or a perspective, and I like me being like I obviously like being a dad. Maybe like I can impact the youth who don't have parents. I don't know. That's just I don't know if I'm gonna do it, but just like a thought of like maybe I can impact kids that way. I even thought about being a freaking English teacher or some sort of art teacher, a high school teacher, just so I can. I don't know.
My captain.
Be one of be Robin Williams if there were Robin Williams. Yeah.
Oh, captain, my captain.
Oh God.
Oh God, he's gonna fall. I'm gonna laugh so hard.
We have to clip that.
Somebody clip that. Somebody better be ready to clip that.
Little shits and.
I mean, I'm going off a lot. So, like, what about you guys? Your passion or purpose or porpoise?
Purpose
or tortoise?
Turtles.
I think I'm still figuring out my purpose. But going full circle and bringing back on dabbling, I feel like sometimes dabbling is necessary to find something you're passionate about. Because if I didn't dabble in dance, I wouldn't have found that passion in dance. If I didn't dabble in photography, I wouldn't have found that passion for photography.
Samesies.
You know, so I feel like it depends on some people, because sometimes you wouldn't find things you're passionate about unless you try, you know.
I mean, even marketing, this thing I do was part of something that I dabbled in. I didn't want to do it at first. I was just like, maybe I can be good at marketing, because I jumped from like major to major at a community college, because I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't want to be a nurse.
I don't want to be Filipino.
I don't want to be a nurse. So
yeah, like for me, honestly, like throughout like my high school, I knew what I wanted. Like my freshman year, I was like animator, done, and like
and here we are now.
Done.
Like literally like 3 weeks after graduating, I went straight to college and graduated on time and all that shit. So
And then he started hitting on me on MySpace.
that was like,
Oh my god, were you on this top 8?
Yeah,
What's MySpace?
fuck you.
Get the fuck out of here. Get out of here.
But yeah, like
MySpace.
the thing is, I used to be so snooty about like,
Facebook.
oh, you don't know what you want to do in your life.
Oh, I would have hated you had I known that.
Yeah, that's what. Like,
I would have strangled
dude, it's like I know what I want to do. Like I've I thought I had life figured out, and I'm
Dude, people were
got a degree in animation. Now doing advertising and marketing.
doing no animation.
Those people are little shits. It's like, okay, you got your shit together. Let me work on my own on the way I want to work on it.
Yeah, I was like a judgmental little prick. Like,
All right, you said it. I was thinking it.
You were thinking it.
so, Diego, were you gonna say something?
What's MySpace?
Okay.
Oh, what's MySpace?
Fuck out of here. Mute his ass.
Yeah, no, because I think that's one thing too. Like with that, I think I think it's becoming more okay is changing your mind, trying and changing your mind, because it's like I think we judge everyone pretty hard. Like once you're set, this is what you got to be, and then it sucks to just be boxed in like that, because then it feels like you have no options, or
like these kids now have like an even safer space to fuck up, because like I think like our generation and then like the ones like before us, there was so much pressure to just excel at the first try because of like a lot of pressure from like family, friends, parents, educators, mentors.
Culture,
you know, it's the
first
culture.
kid to have a degree.
First, like, you know, there's families that like, you know, they're the first ones to graduate high school. They're the first ones to go to college, period. It doesn't matter if it's real college or community college. Like it's real college, big boy school or whatever. It's, you know, there's just a lot of like societal pressure to excel at the first try for a lot of like our generation, and a lot of these kids nowadays, they're literally trying everything.
Yeah.
Like, you know, they can literally just hop on YouTube, try something, and then be good at it in like 2 weeks.
Get an air flare, beat a B-boy who's been going at it for
fucking 10-year-olds can do this on their face for 10 minutes. Meanwhile, when I was 10, my eyeshadow was like up to here and it was all blue.
Or 10-year-olds. 10-year-olds doing power moves that I can't do.
You guys lost me here.
One eye was blue, the other one was green.
Actually, I've done that. I've also done like all white and all black, and then I did the raccoon eyes because, you know, it's not a phase, Mom.
Yeah, okay.
It is. I got one that's similar to that.
You had a raccoon?
Because I mean, I feel like as far as passion, I've always known what I've been passionate about. A couple things I'm passionate about is obviously dance, gaming, wrestling, and like anything nerdy, you know. And as a kid, I always enjoyed this stuff, you know. And I kind of did some of it. As a kid, I used to dance at parties. As a kid, I used to watch wrestling. As a kid, I used to read comic books and watch the shows all the time. And then I kind of died out of it. And then later in life, I dove back into it. But then later in life, I dove back into it as an adult that actually looks into it and gets a passion for this, right? And I know I have a passion for this stuff because I can talk to you guys about hours and hours and hours and hours and hours about any of the topics. And I know I have a passion for it. So I feel like, you know, sometimes it just comes and finds you, you know, and when you find it, it somehow just stays and sticks with it. And to everybody out there who feels like they don't have a passion, maybe you're in your late 20s, early 30s, here's a quick story. You got time. Here's a quick story for you guys. Batista was 35 years old. He was an ex-bodybuilder that became a bodyguard at a bar. At 35 years old, he started wrestling to become world champion. What did he do after that? He became an MMA fighter. No, MMA fighter.
Oh, yeah, MMA fighter first. Yeah.
Movies, right? At 35 years old. At 35 years old, he started, right? So it's never too late. Here, a second one. Diamond Dallas Page, 35 years old once again. DDP.
Bam!
The king of bada bing, the master of the diamond cutter, DDP, was 35 years old when he started wrestling, right? Became world champion. Boom, wrestled. What did he do when he left? He became a yoga instructor.
He became a yoga instructor and like sold DVDs.
I've done DDP yoga.
I've done DDP yoga. That shit
It's
hurts.
actually really good.
It works.
And he
The diamond
loves it.
push-ups.
And he loves it. And it's like, I mean, that.
Oh yeah, I watched those, and he was just having so much fun filming. I was like, I was like, at some point, I was just sitting there like watching. I'm like, I'm not even working out anymore.
It's so interesting seeing the evolution of people, like when they switch, like going from, this
one extreme to another ish.
Like The Rock. He went from a skinny, scrawny football player to like this yoked freaking.
But like actor.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like twice the size he was when he was wrestling, dude.
He went
Okay.
from the
I still
a
have to get
pebble
yoked.
to a rock to a boulder.
To a boulder. You mean the boulder on Avatar? I'm kidding. Okay. What was it? Okay, so this does bring up a question for me though. So like, okay, so you found your passion apostrophe S or like apostrophe S, like, like parentheses S, so passions.
Asterisk.
Would you do you think you can or want to monetize it in some way or like do it as a job or I mean, you guys dance. That's part of your passion. And you guys get paid for it every now and then. B-Rock is a photographer; he gets paid for it. I mean, the thing is, I have like a day job that isn't like part of my passion, but like it's my job because my thing is like stuff that's like my passion. It's like it's either like makeup or hair or some of those other like bullshit like cooking, baking, and everything. I love doing that, but if I were to do any of that as a job, I will hate it. I will stop doing it. I will stop liking it if it becomes a job for me because I don't like dealing with people.
Then you also have to meet a demand on.
I don't have to meet a demand. So like like just the shallowest example would be like, let's say if I wanted to be like an actual working makeup artist, like if I did somebody's makeup, they're a dumb client and they're like, well, I want pink blush. It's like, bitch, pink blush doesn't look good on you. Take a peach. They're like, no, I want pink. Go be a clown.
This doesn't look good. Well, this is what you wanted.
Yeah, you said you wanted pink. You pointed out the exact blush shade, and I said did not look good on you. Like I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with clients. Period.
If I was on some level beta dancer and I knew what I knew, I would.
Joey,
I wouldn't mind monetizing. If I, for instance, was a wrestler, like if I somehow got to the business and I knew what I knew and they started paying me, like I wouldn't mind. Honestly, wouldn't mind. I mean, I get paid to do what I love. Why would I not want to do that? And I feel like within what I like to do is like to get paid to do that. I feel pretty easy.
Mm-hmm. I think it just depends on the individual and like what they want to do and stuff.
Like with me, I'm like devil's advocate for Max's answer because I'd rather have a job I love doing because is why would you want to stick yourself somewhere like I hate this. It's a paycheck because like me currently being a photographer, like my goal if I could choose a photography job is to work for the Lakers as their photographer. But right now it's also networking. You guys see my Instagram, I deleted all my personal posts, like my personal post photos and stuff and just strictly work. So like my Instagram is just Twitch related and photography related. Currently at work at Universal, I network myself out, getting to know people in higher places to see if I could do photography during their Halloween Horror Nights promotions or hitting up my friends that are Jabberwockies. So when they do Horror Nights, I could take photography for them and hopefully that could branch into something else. So it's what you put in your passion and what you want to try to get out of it, because end goal for me is Lakers.
Yeah.
It's always been the Lakers, either a basketball player or a photographer. Oh shit! When the Joey get here,
so,
what the?
All right, so
look who's here.
So happy birthday!
I just want to say happy birthday! Your freaking podcast was inspiring. I was like eating there. I was like,
Wow.
So we're gonna try because I like what we're talking about. I kind of want to like have your take on it because I like what you said about your dad. Now we are back. All right. So
Get that?
Whoa, what?
Diego, you look like Joey, Diego.
What happened to
What? What happened?
Joey? Were you there the whole time?
I was here the whole time, man.
What the?
He
fuck?
was. Like, y'all were just dreaming. Joey's been here this whole time.
Before we did the break, we were talking about passion and purpose and all that. So like, I'm glad Joey hopped on because he shared something really cool on the chat. So I'm glad you're able to share that. So if you want to like share your 2 cents and whatnot, feel free, man.
You have 19 minutes.
He's just here. He's
just here. He just wanted to say happy birthday.
I actually hopped on to say happy birthday, B-Rock. Oh, you're awesome. The thing he was talking about was when we were talking about purpose and everything, like what affects you. We were talking about my dad. He had like, I'm not sure if everyone knows, but I'm an immigrant. Now I'm American. That's crazy.
Citizenship test though.
Yeah. Well, until they ask you about your taxes, and you're like,
you have to pay taxes now. Not gonna be an American.
Like, you're almost there. Did you pay last year's taxes?
Like, I got a refund.
But yeah, he lived in a certain province where like it was either be a farmer, work in the factory, get drunk. That was it. So he just wanted out of that, and he's like, nah, man, I'm gonna become an engineer. And then he had choice between Japan or America, which is funny. And he took America because of Disneyland, is what they tell me. That's probably
Disneyland.
That's a great sell. I mean,
Disneyland in Tokyo.
So Disneyland, we see you opening soon and need some fresh entertainment.
Oh yeah. Wait.
Okay, so
is Disney taking back their artists, or are they gonna have to re-audition?
I think. Well, our article said like any furloughed employees are being brought back. They didn't say which ones. They probably did. Like it was probably like the regular cast members, like actually like working the rides, the restaurants, and everything. I don't know if it's if the character actors are also
okay. So to also add a little more clarity on the theme parks, because right now all the news outlets are saying they can reopen by April 1st. Mm-hmm. It's not guaranteed we're going to be reopening by April 1st.
Disneyland said late April, probably.
Because starting April 1st, if we're in the right tier, that's when we can start looking at reopening. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, we haven't been to work in over a year. And there's going to be new protocols. So there's going to be at least a month of retraining everybody.
And
getting everyone back and figure out what can be open or cannot, or what needs to be adjusted. So if anyone in chat,
what limited capacity looks like.
Yeah. So if everyone's seeing like, theme parks reopen by April 1st.
Don't get excited.
So
keep it in your pants.
That's why I'm like, everyone talks to me like, oh, you have to get to go back to work next month. I'm like, hopefully.
No. April Fool.
Maybe.
Oh my God, imagine.
Not working.
I'm going to use that.
I guess to go back into the whole passion thing, because like I'm of both minds, because when I was a working dancer with antics and just touring and all that stuff, I didn't train that much outside because it became work. I was like, I'm just going to practice that rehearsal. And even when I was dancing with someone like some really amazing dancers, I was dancing alongside B-Boy Crumbs, who was like a freaking legend. And all he was to me was the cranky
coworker,
the cranky OG. But
he was a coworker.
But looking back at it, I was like, fuck, I was dancing with Crumbs.
You were dancing with Crumbs.
I should have picked his brain instead of like, that's it can easily, I guess it depends on the drive too, because once people start earning money, like for example, some NBA players, once they make it, they probably don't work as hard as they were in college because now they're making that coin.
That coin.
So, but at the same time, like click. I enjoyed the performing part and touring part, but not so much the rehearsing part. Probably because it wasn't the best rehearsals all the time, but it wasn't, as dancing wasn't as fun. So I can definitely empathize with that. But at the same time, at the end of the day, like I guess it ultimately comes back down to like finding the process you don't mind getting lost in.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when you find your passion and you get monetized, maybe the monetization part of the passion just sucks shit. So it's maybe it's finding something else where you don't mind getting yourself lost in all the time, and the byproduct is the money. is the key, is I guess the unlock.
Yeah, your story kind of like triggered another memory that I had with the like having a passion. It kind of, when I was in Versatile, we had like our weekly rehearsals, right? At some point, I started like hating it, and I started like, this is starting to feel like a job, or this is starting to feel like routine. Like I have to do this. Like I have to do this. Like the kind of like the love for it was kind of like seeping away, and I was like, I don't want
it turned from I want to go to I have to go.
I have to go.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was having this discussion with one of my mentors, she was like, why did you feel that way? Because I told her about it. I was like, I don't know. I think it was just because of the fact that something as dance, that it's such a creative craft and a very like, you can do anything with it. When you put it in a like container and constantly do that same routine, it doesn't make it feel as it should feel, or I should be feeling this way. And so I ended up telling her, like, I think it was just when I started connecting more with my friends that I was training with, like, oh yeah, we don't like this together. So we start making our own little training things, like, let's take what we learned in rehearsal and how do we apply it in a freestyle round, or how do we like do something else with it? So when we started having more variety in training in our rehearsals, it was like, yeah, okay, now I want to go because I don't know what to expect, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just remember having those times where it's like, oh, I have to do this. Like, oh, I have to do this. But then like, I feel like those can be just phases. I don't know for everybody, but I know for myself, I can go through those phases of like, oh, I have to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Joy.
It's weird because I was thinking about this in the shower like 2 days ago.
Shower thoughts. Our shower thoughts.
Thinking is done in the bathroom.
Because I started out in like taking pictures. I started out like learning analog photography, and then going from there, I took it from like junior high all the way to college, and now I do a lot of video. And I was thinking, like, every time I do go out, take my camera out and just take photos, I'm in my like own zone, I guess, versus when I'm doing video. Like, I love that too as a passion, but then it's a type of zone where I don't mind having guests, which I feel like changes the way I think about it. Because I used to do pictures for jobs, but now I don't want to do photography for jobs, just like you guys are talking about. Just because like I feel I don't like taking pictures of people too much, just because I want to take a picture of what I'm currently, like, my creative process is saying to take a picture of.
Yeah.
And then videography is totally opposite, where it's like, let them in, let them like bounce off you. You can bounce off them, because I guess it is kind of like a duet with film.
Collaborative work.
Yeah. Collaborative. Yes, exactly. Thank you. So that's crazy, guys. Second thought, that dent behind Rosie, I thought there was like a stain on my screen.
God.
It's on your right side.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That one. That one looks like I spit when you spit on your screen, and you're like,
just wiping my screen.
If you go back like 10 seconds, you'll see me go.
I mean, I can understand where Joey's going with the duet part, working with people in videography, because it's also the same when I'm doing my photography. If you guys just wouldn't see how I work during at least like the rooftop shoot, I'm not just telling so-and-so like, all right, go here. I'm like, oh, we could go here. What do you think? Try to get in their head what's the vision that they want or are trying to put out, and trying to
what do you want to look like?
Yeah, trying to work on putting what they are visioning out with my creative process, and collaborate with that as well. So, because I hate doing photo shoots where the model
you're the one doing all the thinking.
It's like, how should I pose? How should I do this? I'm like, what do you feel? Because I like doing shoots where we're both working together. Because I like to give my models like a lot of free reign with wardrobe, with their posing. Like, give me an idea, and I'll work with that idea and frame it in my head and frame it at the location. And then that's where you get a lot of, like, at least with me, a lot of my magic out, and you get a lot of those good shots. So,
and I feel like if the model like themselves have some sort of creative input within the shoot, they will be a lot more comfortable. They can actually like, do their best work. Because like a lot of people think it's just like, yeah, no, stand there and pout at the camera. I'm like, no, it's not. I've been on both sides of the camera. I'm like, oh God, I hate them both. I hate being in front of it the most, but I'm just like, this is hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it also adds more, like, it eases the tension when you're able to work together and you're able to make the shoot more fun for each other. Cause like, you're just bouncing off each other's ideas and having a good time. Cause like, you're not taking orders from one side, is not taking orders from the other. You know what I mean? It's not giving orders or giving directions. Like, all right, let's try this. What do you think? All right, let's try this. Let's try this next. Oh, it didn't work. Cool. You know? It just makes it like an easier working environment.
Yeah. To kind of bounce off what Rosie said, like there's I don't know if you guys listen to Tony Robbins, like there's like 7, like one of the basic human needs is like stability is definitely one of them. We need to feel safe, like be okay with where we are, but we also need variety. Like we need both, because like when, how people say you just, stay your lane or whatever, like do one thing, but like you have to really pull from both sides. Like, you have to be stable, like feel like there's a routine going on, but you have to have that stability to help give you freedom to create some variety, because variety is the spice of life. It kind of gives us, it's what gives us the excitement. But without stability, variety is stressful because it's unpredictable.
Yeah.
Chaotic.
So
organized chaos.
Balls deep in that. They're like, full chaos. Let's go.
I mean, yeah, like for example, like those people. Like there are people that are just like straight up living like chaotic. Live life by the moment, man. I live my life.
Those are the ones that have money to fall back on.
Then you have accountants. Just kidding.
Okay. First, like I wanted to be an accountant when I was like in kindergarten. Like for a long time, I was like, I'm gonna be an accountant. Since kindergarten, I wanted to be an accountant. This is how boring of a child I was. I'm a fucking nerd. I was just like, I wanted to be an accountant. I'm good at this. I'm good at this. And then I got to college. I'm like, I don't want to be an accountant.
I don't want to do this.
I don't want to be a nurse either. And then like something that like Rosie said about like finding something within that process, like when you start to like hate it, like when it starts to become I have to go, like finding something within it that like isn't that like, because like I have like a day job and it has to do with marketing, which which was something I kind of got into. I wouldn't say it's like a passion, but I started with like my marketing job at my place of work, where it was all grunt work. It was all intern work essentially. And I'm just like, I was like, I hate it. I hate this. Why? And then and then kind of like months pass and they were like throwing me like, oh, do you want to go to the event and take photos there? I was like, okay. And they were like, oh, and there's going to be another event. Can you take photos, but also maybe throw in a video too? I was like, sure. I was like, okay, like I like these. And then, like more and more, they're like, hey, can you, as people were either leaving the job or people are getting pregnant. So there was a lot of maternity. Yeah. There was a lot of maternity leave covers that I have to do. And it's like, then they pulled me into like, can you design the whole catalog for us? I'm like, excuse me. I'm like,
hot.
You said what?
Hot.
I went from like put these calendars in the little holders in the locker room to design the whole catalog because 2 people are pregnant at the same time.
Damn.
I'm like, okay.
With the same guy.
Shit. Thank you guys for letting me join again.
Of course.